Hello and welcome, everybody. We're so glad you're here. Welcome to another Growth Mindset Collective with myself, Eva, and Nikki Hall. How are you today,
Hello,
Nikki?
I'm great. Looking forward to the holiday.
Yay, and hence why I'm wearing the hat. Um, I just felt more festive today. So today's conversation isn't really about setting another goal or adding more to your to-do list. We love those, right? It's about
Yeah.
designing your dynamic 2026 intentionally, consciously, and boldly. So 2026 doesn't begin in January, actually. It begins the moment you decide who you are becoming. So today we're exploring three powerful elements: vision, identity, and the next level boldness. But Nikki has something special for us. So we're going to see what she has for us and go from there. The floor
Yes,
is
this is what
yours.
happens when we don't quite coordinate. We coordinate the title, and we don't really write or prepare the podcast. And I got into the meditation this morning. I got into this groove, like when you get somewhere in life and you're really exercising and doing everything that you think you should be doing in mindset, you start to exist in a constant state of euphoria. Like I'm constantly living in this high frequency vibration state of love and gratitude. So I just wanted to share something different. I thought I don't want to do the standard talk at the end of the year. So I want you to know something right away, and that is that this is not another episode on goals, resolutions, vision boards, or fixing yourself. Woohoo! Let's be the crowd. Um, there's nothing wrong with you that needs fixing before January arrives. Like that presupposition exists there in our mind, whether we're thinking it or not. So let's acknowledge it and get it out of there. This episode is for people who feel tired of pushing, who feel pressure to do better next year, who sense that the answer isn't more effort, it's something more quieter, deeper, and honest. So before you plan anything, if you've started already, hold on a minute. Before you decide who you're going to be next year, I want to invite you to take a pause because preparing isn't about someone, it's not about someone new. It's about removing what's been weighing you down. And I know that's kind of what we try to do every year with our resolutions and our changes and so on. But we're going to take a little different look at it this year. Most people don't start their new year. They drag old ones in the new year. Like they don't start new. They drag the old year in the new year. We have unfinished conversations, old disappointments, mistakes that keep uh, that are constantly on replay. We have stories about what didn't work, who hurt our inventory or our expected goals, or what happened to impede them, or where we think we fell short. Yeah, let's not do that. And here's the thing, that's not reflection, that's more like rehearsal or dragging crap into the new year. Uh, do I have to censor that? Do we need a beep on that one? So I want you to ask yourself gently and honestly, kindly with your heart, what am I still mentally paying for? What situation ended, but am I still paying for it? Like I'm keep reopening in my mind, like, let's get rid of that. Let's just Eesh, out. No more. Like, what version of yourself are you struggling with this year? And do I want to keep dragging that forward? Like that's a habit that we don't even need for sure. And yet, yeah, let's just let it go. Let's not talk about what we're gonna do next year. Let's just let the crap go this year. You don't need to relive the year to learn from it. You don't need to carry every lesson into January either. I mean, once we own it, once we get it, we own it. Some chapters are complete, even if they weren't perfect. They're your perfect and they're the way they were supposed to be at that time. You don't need motivation right now. You need closure. You need a little housekeeping, a little bing, 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 bing. Go find your Christmas hat and get into the festivities like Ava here. Now, and closure doesn't mean everything worked out. Well, it doesn't mean that. We have a presupposition there too in our thoughts, where closure means it's all nice and tidy and so on and so forth. Yeah, it doesn't always have to be that way. Even when your life starts going into alignment and is going up, some of those things aren't pleasant. That's life. Okay, so what we want you to do is stop charging today for yesterday's paint. Right, Ava?
Sure.
Shall I keep going?
Yes.
So here's a question most people never ask themselves. If the thing I want arrives tomorrow, could I hold on to it? Now, be honest. Not intellectually. I'm talking about emotionally, nervously, energetically. Could you sustain more money without anxiety or some kind of self-sabotage? Like that, you know, that's a sneaky one. Could you be seen without shrinking or over-explaining, qualifying any kind of point? Could things feel easier without guilt? Let's guilt. Because desire is not the problem. Capacity is our problem. Think about it. And capacity isn't about willpower, it's about safety. Our nervous system has to feel safe enough to receive what your mind desires. So instead of asking, what do I want next year? Try asking, what am I becoming, what am I becoming safe enough to receive? That's an interesting way of looking at it, right? The question changes everything. Now I'm going to take you a little deeper here. So as the year ends, identify quietly, not because these are things that are bad. Identify the things that you want to retire, not because they're bad, but because they're complete. Even though they might not seem complete or be complete to what we learned in another day and age, what complete meant. They're complete. Out. Thank you. Okay, so maybe being done, maybe your being done is the version of what you over-explained, or the version of chaste validity, or the version that tried to prove your worth through going through it time again and time again, which actually ended up being exhaustion. You don't have to reject who you were. You don't have to reject where you are right now to cause better effect in the new year. You can thank yourself and let yourself rest. Celebrate. You can ask yourself, which identity am I complete with? Celebrate yourself. Which pattern no longer gets to lead? Say goodbye, do a little dance. Which version of me is ready to step forward calmly without drama. Without drama. Sometimes that's hard because change causes this friction and it exists while you're moving forward in that change. You don't have to reinvent yourself. Don't do that. You're pretty wonderful the way you are. Sometimes growth looks like standing more comfortably in who you really are. Okay, so let's go into anti-resolution. Yeah. Put your hat on sideways. Everyone makes a list of what they want to start. Very few people decide what they're going to tolerate. So let it let's flip that. Ask yourself, what am I no longer available for? Love that one. What am I done funding with my energy? What strategies almost work but actually keep me stuck? That's a comfort zone question. That's a specialty where Ava is. If you want to talk about that further, book a half an hour call with her. She is pure magic. All right. Because clarity isn't created by addition. Clarity is created by subtraction. We That's a thing. We have to fix that. Clarity is created by subtraction, not addition. So, what you stop doing often creates more space than anything you start. Okay, I'm going to sum this up for us now. As this year closes, I don't want you rushing to become someone else. I think I already told you in this class. You're wonderful. You're wonderful the way you are. We want you to notice uh, who you already survived being or got to being. Got to, that's a bad word, isn't it? Who you learned how to be when things didn't quite go as planned. That's that's an important you. When you had to figure it out, when you kept showing up, sometimes imperfectly, sometimes quietly, but consistently. You don't need to drag every lesson into next year. You don't need to prove anything um, or prove anything to January. Let this year be the year you stop rehearsing your pain and start trusting your capacity. You know what I mean by that. I'm not talking big pain. I'm talking about that comfort zone, the sneak pain, the sneak pain that you think is nice. Okay, so let this be the moment you decide that peace, regulation, and self-respect are not rewards you earn later. They are places you live right now. So celebrate yourself in peace, regulation, and self-respect right now. And as you move forward, carry this question with you. You ready? Last question. What would it look like to live as someone who expects things to work out and know they can handle it if it doesn't? That's you already. You just step up, just stand up if you're sitting down. They say, that's me. So you are more than prepared for next year. You are more than prepared for life, for everything. You're more prepared than you think, period. And you don't need a new year to be worthy of what's next. Ta-da! That's it.
Yay! And that's why we were talking, like Nikki was saying, we kind of started off saying one thing, but sometimes when things are not working, even though in a nutshell we are talking about a vision, we're talking about identity, because Nikki did mention it. We talked about the next level you, but sometimes the things you've done for a little bit, for the last little bit, maybe they're not working. So another way we're saying that, sometimes do things from a different angle. When you change the way you look at things, things change. So that's what Nikki is trying to tell us here too, that, sometimes you got to take a different approach, not the traditional one, not the one you hear over and over again. Sometimes it's just sitting down and taking it through a different angle, like Nikki was explaining. So, you know, sometimes you gotta try something new, like me wearing a hat right now for this. Um,
Yes, Ava, I've never seen you wearing a hat like that before.
See, you know, and
It's
it's
neat.
fun, right? But in naturality, we are all perfect, and of course, there's things we want, there's things we desire, but sometimes we gotta look at them from a different angle. If the things we've done up until now are not really bringing us what we want, right? So Nikki had some wonderful questions as she was asking. So I would strongly recommend rewinding and listening to them again and writing them down and just, reflect from a different point of angle, not the traditional one, and see what comes up. Maybe all of a sudden you'll have a big aha moment. Maybe something will jump at you and you're like, oh my gosh, I never looked at it that way. And I did something really different last night too. I was actually going over my journal from 5 years ago almost, where,
Wow.
it felt like at some level I wasn't going. It seemed like I wasn't where I wanted to go. But as I started going over 2021, 22, and then at the end when I got to where I am now, I looked at it like, wow, I was amazed at how much I have done from, becoming published author to, podcasts to, bringing in clients to doing so many things in the last 4 years. I've never done anything like that in my entire life before that. So it just
Don't
proves
forget
ourselves
having
that we
new
can do
work
so much.
besties.
Yeah. And you meet so many wonderful people in the meantime, right? And I felt such immense gratitude for that. But sometimes we forget to sit down and really reflect on things in a different way. And it felt so good, so fulfilling. But when sometimes you look at one thing at a time, you feel like you're not getting anywhere. But sometimes you need to see the big picture. And it's like, wow, I have accomplished so much. Like Nikki talks about that, too. She wrote a book before, she's writing books now, and then she reflects on her lives like, I have done so much.
Yes.
And you can't do anything but feel gratitude for that and love
Mm,
and pure love and bask in it as much as you can, because honestly, how often do we actually sit down and do that? Usually it's
yeah.
like, oh, okay, cool, a moment's gone, and you're like, what was that? Like we don't even sit down and reflect on our old selves, and there's nothing wrong with us, but we have to acknowledge what's there, and
Exactly.
I think that's such a beautiful, you know, awareness and magnitude to be in, and carry that with you to the next year and next year after that, right, Nikki?
Absolutely. But that, even if you look at Ava and I from, let's say, 5 years ago, we are much happier souls, deeply, profoundly practicing this way of living. There's a lot of rewards that are unspoken, that are untangible, that we really don't mention or bring forward.
Exactly. So I think it's good to sit down and reflect, and you don't need to wait for permission to design your life. You don't need to become someone else, like Nikki says, only more of who you truly are already. Your dynamic 2026 and beyond is already calling you forward. The question is not if you're ready, it's whether you're willing to actually answer that. So, Nikki, do you have anything else to add? If not, we'll wrap it up and celebrate.
Yes. No, I just hope everybody attains what they feel they're ready to attain in 2026. I wish you all a happy and kind and generous heart, and I hope you see a lot more joy.
That's beautiful. And the same for me. And of course, thank you so much for showing up today. And always, thank you for showing up for yourself, for your growth as well, and for the future you. And, be the best version of you. You already are that, but bring it forward more. So, till next time, till next year, I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday season. And thank you so much for watching and take care. Bye.